okay? And I want to talk about it. But first, I want to go ahead and play a clip, a summary clip in regards to what happened when the House passed this resolution, because the Senate also has a separate resolution condemning the assassination and honoring Charlie Kirk. And the Senate approved a measure designating October 14th, 2025, Charlie Kirk's birthday, as National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Okay, now, again, this is something that clearly pisses off Democrats, or put it this way, some of these far left Trump deranged progressives. Take a look.
Well, we just got some breaking news here, Chad, that Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the Democrats, the House Democrats, just voted yes. He's a yes on honoring Charlie Kirk, and AOC just voted no. So there is the divide right there within the Democratic Party on a resolution that really should be bringing everyone together. Thank you, Chad Pergram, live on the Hill for us with that breaking news. Let's bring in Shannon Bream now. Give us your take on, this is a resolution that is very simple.
On this vote,
very easy to understand, and there it is. It's final now. Let's listen in.
Voting present are 38. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
There it is. It has passed in the House, this resolution to honor Charlie Kirk. Shannon, your takeaway on this divide we're looking at right now on the House floor, where Democrats couldn't move themselves to vote yes on this.
Well, and you've got several of them out there that are publicly saying that they think of Charlie's legacy as something much different than Republicans do. We talked about this with the speaker on Fox News Sunday, and some comments from Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who has said, you want to call people's bleep out on this. They're trying to rewrite his legacy and calling him a hateful person. Republicans will say, go watch his clips, the things he's being accused of, racism and bigotry and these other things. You'll see that melt away if you watch the conversations he had with people. They were uncomfortable, they were difficult, but he was laughing, he would hug people. They feel like he's been mischaracterized, and so for that respect, they say this is a...
I've seen a lot of his clips, and I still cannot say this man is racist. I've seen the clips that they talk about, especially the one they bring about the pilot and what he said. I think he just has the same problem that Donald Trump has, is that they have diarrhea of the mouth sometimes. That's all that is. How to form words for people. They're not concerned about how you perceive it. They're gonna say what the fuck they're gonna say. And I gotta respect them for that. That's just how I see it. What do you think about that, Max?
I actually agree with you, but Sean,
yes,
Sean,
sir.
Man, this cough medicine is kicking in, and
Yeah, I
I'm getting ready to
understand.
fall asleep, nigga. I'm sorry.
Yeah, do what you do, man. Do what you do, man. It's all good.
Right,
We about to end this up, man. Do what you gotta do.
I appreciate you, brother. One love,
Yes, sir.
One love, Dragon.
Y'all take it easy, man. Take it easy,
Yeah,
man.
Sorry, I got a cold. Are we gonna be on tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll do tomorrow.
All right, bet. All right. One love, y'all.
All right, peace out. We about to go in a minute.
The resolution that everyone should be able to vote for. But you mentioned some of the key players like AOC, for example. We talked earlier about her potentially running in 28 or running for the Senate or running for the White House. So the party very much has to decide what it is moving forward. Is it more progressive? Is it more moderate? Is it establishment? I mean, this vote would suggest that there's really not a lot of common ground.
Yeah, Shannon, to yours.
All right, now we're going to get to what AOC was saying.
House majority brought to the floor a resolution honoring the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's assassination was a horrific and vile attack and incident of political violence. And condemning the depravity of Kirk's brutal murder is a straightforward matter, one that is especially important to help stabilize an increasingly unsafe and volatile political environment where everyday people feel more at risk. We can deeply disagree and come together as a country to denounce the horror of this killing. And it is not a license for the abuse of power and whitewashing of American history.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Oh
Again,
my
same thing I say to you
God.
guys all the time about all these people that are getting quote unquote canceled, right? What do? Right? They'll spend a minimum amount of time saying, well, we should condemn political violence and that, this isn't right. And, blah, 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 right? They'll spend, a minute on that, maybe, right? If that, okay. They just do that as a shield, right? They do that as a shield to spend the majority of their rant, what they got to say, smearing Charlie Kirk, right? That's essentially what AOC is about to do. Okay, she should have just stopped this. She should have just stopped what she said after she was finished talking about how, again, political violence is wrong or whatever, right?
Basically, these people like to double down on shit. And so she's about to double down on shit. Instead of being more reasonable, she could earn so much respect for what she hasn't been doing anyway, and could have formed herself into a potential candidate for the next president. Even though we know this crazy chick ain't finna dang get the presidency, but she could at least earn herself some respect, and she chooses to double down on shit.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
After she said that, she should have just stopped. But they can never just stop there. It always has to be an agenda for these people.
Today's resolution only underscores the majority's recklessness by choosing to author this condemnation and honoring on a purely partisan basis, instead of uniting Congress in this tragedy with one of the many bipartisan options to condemn political violence and Kirk's murder, as we did with the late Melissa Hortman. Instead, the majority proceeded with a resolution that brings great pain to the millions of Americans who endured segregation, Jim Crow, and the legacy of bigotry today. We should be clear about Charlie Kirk.
She act like Charlie Kirk, the fucking KKK.
Right.
I'm like, for real? Seriously?
Was a man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake.
Now, see, here's the thing. Watch, Black conservative perspective about to put all that, about to debunk that in real time.
That's not what Charlie Kirk really said in context, right? What he said in context about the Civil Rights Act is not what AOC is portraying it as. Take a look.
If you had the opportunity, you would get rid of the Civil Rights Act?
No, I think you should have a one-page bill that says that racial discrimination based on race is illegal and will not be tolerated in the United States of America. Most Black Americans don't support is men and female sports. Would you agree?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. No, for sure, right? Believe it or not, the Civil Rights Act is now being used to keep men playing in women's sports. So the Civil Rights Act was used to help Black America originally. Totally get that. But now the way it was written is that any claim of identification, so someone says, I'm a woman, therefore I can compete in your volleyball team, they come in with a civil rights claim. And so what we're saying is, no, it should be specified to racial, not gender, all that other stuff. And there are all these other provisions as well.
Yeah, so clearly, Charlie Kirk is not saying what AOC is saying that he said, right? Which is that Black people should lose their rights, right? That is what she means when she talked about Charlie Kirk being a...
Folks, you don't see how they spin this shit? See how they spin this shit? And y'all dumbasses falling for it every damn time. Like you're playing goddamn, what's that? Hide the damn, the people be out on the street with the 3 cups, and you gotta figure out which one got the pebble up underneath it or whatever they goddamn hiding up underneath that shit.
Right.
You keep falling for that shit. You keep choosing the middle one. They got that shit on the end somewhere. That's y'all Black folk. No, that's y'all niggas. I ain't one of y'all. I'm a Black person.
Against the Civil Rights Act. That's not actually.
I'm Afro-Latino.
Providing more nuanced opinion in regards to how the Civil Rights Act is too broad and how it covers groups of people. You have groups of people basically hijacking the intent of the Civil Rights Act for their own political gain, right? That is what he was talking about, which is something that if you're Black and you're conservative, I think that Charlie Kirk's opinion is pretty spot on, to be honest with you, okay? So again, these are lies.
Hell, if you Black, period, that shit's spot on.
After the violent attack on Paul Pelosi claims that, quote, some amazing patriot, unquote, should bail out his brutal assailant.
Yeah, again, in context, he's not saying what AOC is
no, he's not
claiming
saying
that he said, right? What she's implying that he said. Let's roll the clip.
I mean, I'm looking at Politico.com. I'm looking at the New York Times. I'm looking at all these places, and there's a little bit of mention here. For example, Politico says top Republicans reject any link between GOP rhetoric and Paul Pelosi assault. Of course you should reject any link. Why is the Republican Party, why is the conservative movement to blame for gay schizophrenic nudists that are hemp jewelry makers breaking into somebody's home, or maybe not breaking into somebody's home? Why are we to blame for that exactly? And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? By the way, if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like $30,000 or $40,000. Bail him out and then go ask him some questions. I wonder what his bail is. They're going after him with attempted murder, political assassination, all this sort of stuff. I'm not qualifying it. I think it's awful. It's not right. But why is it that in Chicago, you're able to commit murder and be out the next day? Why is it that you're able to trespass, second-degree murder?
So, folks, if you don't understand what he's saying, why not get to the fucking truth? That's what he meant by why I'm some outstanding patriot. Because if you get to the fucking truth, it'd be better for everybody, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The truth is always good. If he did it, he did it. Cool, you're gonna find out. But the dude is not, he's not out on bail. Why is it somebody, like you said, why does somebody get killed and be out on bail the next day? This dude's still in the damn jail.
Right.
Person, threat of public official, cashless bail. This happens all over San Francisco. But if you go after the Pelosi's, oh, you're let out immediately.
Oh.
Yeah. So again, in context of what he actually was saying there, he was addressing this idea for the mainstream liberal media that the attacker of Paul Pelosi was far right, even though there's no evidence that he was far right or a Trump supporter. There's actually more evidence that he was a far leftist who attacked the Pelosi's because they're not far left enough, which is actually a real thing, right? It's not a thing for people who are far right to attack people who are
Antifa.
also right for not.
Antifa so far left, they don't like people that's more to the right. They're still left.
Being far right enough. Like, we don't actually see that, right? That's not a real thing. But it actually really is a thing for far leftists to attack people for not being far left enough, okay? And that was the case with Paul Pelosi's attacker. And what he was saying is that, well, why is it that nobody's actually asking this guy, right, why he did it, right? Like, why is it that he hasn't been bailed out? Because you have people who commit far worse crimes than what happened to Paul Pelosi, but yet they get let out, right? They get let out. But this guy, they don't let him out, right? They don't want to bail him out for whatever reason, but they want to bail everybody else out. Again, in context, he's not saying what AOC is claiming that he said, right? But again, this is what they do. They take out of context quotes and then they misconstrue it. And then they basically tell the audience that, well, he said this, he said that, right? Again, without the full context of exactly what he was talking about. Again, this is just disgusting smearing here from Democrats. Again, they can't just like take a step back and let people mourn and grieve over a conservative civil rights icon being assassinated. They can't do that. They have to continue with the smears and the lies, right? Which, in my opinion, is part of the reason why we're in this situation in the first place.
And accused Jews of controlling, quote, not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it.
Yeah, again, another mischaracterization of what Charlie Kirk was talking about. Roll the clip.
Now, we don't know what part Elon is saying is the actual truth. So let's go through this. Again, it's double negatives and misuse of the word disinterested. It's a strange tweet that Elon pinpointed on here. But the first part is absolutely true. Let's go to this. Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Now, I don't like generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that. But it is true, the Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left-wing anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans. They went all in on woke, and it wasn't just ADL. It was some of the top Jewish organizations in the country that have done that. In fact, we have seen this with the recent retreat of Jewish donations that are no longer going to be administered to colleges, right? Mark Rowan, Leon Kopperman. Can we get that full list? It's very powerful. The part of the, so that's totally true. And by the way, Tucker Carlson reinforces this. So I'm going to it was quite a day on the internet. Tucker Carlson mentions that Jewish Americans have primarily been financing cultural Marxist ideas. We said this, by the way, last week, and people came after us.
We were on top of it.
We actually said it in a different way. We said, I'm glad that Jewish Americans are reconsidering their financing of cultural Marxism. And people misunderstood it intentionally and slandered us as being anti-Semites. But listen to this. Tucker Carlson is completely correct by saying this, that the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in the country.
Yeah, so you can agree or disagree with that statement, but Charlie Kirk is not an anti-Semite. What he said was not anti-Semitic. He was just simply pointing out facts, right? And pointing out facts about certain groups of people, right? Trends. That's not hate and bigotry. That's just pointing out things that, we tend to see, right? Certain patterns of behavior that we tend to see. But, it's just amazing to me how somehow, some way, somebody is pro-Israel.
Franchise millions of Americans, far from the working tirelessly to promote unity, unquote, asserted by the majority in this resolution. It is equally important that Congress does unite to reject the government's attempt to weaponize this moment into an all-out assault on free speech across the country.
Oh, really?
All
Seriously?
in the name of Charlie Kirk.
Well, I mean, there is an all-out assault on free speech. Charlie Kirk was killed for his free speech. Amazing how Democrats are more concerned about losing their jobs, right, and accountability when it comes to free speech than the fact that, again, a conservative civil rights activist was literally assassinated because of his free speech. Again, amazing, absolutely amazing.
President Trump and the FCC are now cynically threatening to shut down ABC and any outlets who give airtime to the administration's political critics. This is a disgusting
That's a
attack
spin. That's
on the
not
American
true.
people and the very First Amendment rights that define us as a country. It is also the ABC Corporation's responsibility to refuse to embolden and participate in this corruption and escalation of censorship.
Once again, the man lied. The man lied on network television, which is under FCC regulation. His next star, the one that has 28 affiliates, pulled his show, which had declined by 750,000 viewers since 2015. This was just an excuse for them to fire him. He was on the way out anyway. So, folks, that's it for today. We're gonna end it right there. Once again, Charlie Kirk. That's the next MLK.
Thank
You're gonna
y'all.
be people with this man's face on in a dang portrait in their house.
Yep, sure
Man,
will.
this man, look at the results of his death and anybody else that's died in recent history. What happened when George Floyd died? Which I don't think he deserved to die like he did. But that's just facts. From what allegedly happened, he had some fentanyl in the system, and it may possibly have caused him to be a little resistant, but he didn't deserve that. But guess what? The results of him being dead: riots in the streets, property getting damaged, violence, debauchery. Charlie Kirk dies, gets killed undeservedly too. What happened? Prayer vigils around the world. People coming to Christ. 5 million people registered as Republican from the Democratic Party. 64,000 new Turning Point USA chapters being established. No violence. I think they had one dude that he was riding a scooter through a crowd of Charlie Kirk. They were memorializing him, holding a vigil or something, or a rally, and he got his ass kicked. He got his ass kicked, but no overwhelming riots. It wasn't no large scale rioting, no large scale violence, none of that. These jokers holding prayer vigils in Korea, UK. Man. Anyway, folks, be a judge of it for yourself. Look around, look at the actions of people. Don't listen to what they're saying. Democrats are not, they're done. They're done. This the demonic entity is in control of the Democratic Party. It really is. We're a constitutional republic that has democratic practices. The Constitution has not been and will not be infringed upon during any Republican rule. Y'all gonna be mad at us if we want and say we coons and whatnot. We not coons. We just free thinkers that are not falling for the bullshit of the Democratic Party anymore.
Nope.
So with all that being said, everyone have a wonderful night. And remember, everybody. And we out.
Later, all. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, bro.